have a big slurp from my cat mug. Alright there, you little demons. Jules here from WhatCulture.com, back again with another episode of the awesomely named and awfully hosted Choose Your Own Adventure, the weekly medieval themed format where I, the Crown Jules of WhatCulture.com, take a list chosen by you. Yes, you, the person who legitimately has a hernia right now. I'm 36, and somehow I managed to get a hernia. It's quite painful, and I'm on a lot of pain medication at the moment, so kind of equaling out pretty well at the moment, but apologies if I sound a bit more slurred and dopey than usual, because hey, it's early in the morning and I am medicated, brother. Yes, you get to decide what list I dole out to you each and every week, and this week we have none other to thank than K Collier 2192 for their suggestion of games that you spent so many hours in and still haven't even bloody finished. Now truly a game needs to be special for most players to willingly sink in over 100 hours into it, or at the very least has to be bloody damn addictive. And while for most players 100 plus hours spent will signify that a game is well worth the money, what about those games that even after so much time you still haven't rolled the credits on? Because while we're going to be talking about a lot of games that you technically can beat in way less than 100 hours, have you really truly experienced everything if you put in any less? Well, no is the answer. You haven't even scratched the surface, so let's have a chat about them. As I'm Jules, this is WhatCulture.com, and these are 8 video games that you've spent 100 plus hours in and still haven't finished. And you know the drill by now. Put your suggestions for next week's episode down in the comment section below, and with that in mind, let's get on with the list. That was meant to be, let's just go on with the list, shall we? Yep, let's do it. Bye. Number 8, The Elder Scrolls V Skyrim. Now, obviously, there's going to be some people who finally behooved themselves to finish Skyrim in the 12 years since it first came out, but they're most certainly outliers amongst the more than 60 million people who own this game. But it's almost comical just how many of these players have actually gone and spent an entire life's worth of time in this game and still haven't even completed the main campaign. There are literally entire Reddit threads of folks confessing that they're more than 1,000 hours into this thing and yet haven't even once beaten a main story that is no longer than actually 30 hours in total. That is incredible and mad, but it's somehow totally understandable because, like most Bethesda games, Skyrim is so much more than its campaign, which really feels like an added value proposition than the real reason to play the game. And if we're being honest, and yes, I rightly accept you stabbing me with your mythical spoons and forks that you've used the alchemy and enchantment perks and abused them to turn them into world enders, and you're gonna insert them right in my gut, the story isn't even that good. If we're being honest, come on, it's just not that good. The real allure, of course, lies in drinking in this utterly mesmeric world. And that's without even considering how much depth that mods have added to this game, nor how many times so many of us have restarted Skyrim each time it's been ported to a new system. Or as the case with myself, where I start a new playthrough of Skyrim, I get so far in, I do all of the stuff apart from the main campaign, obviously, and then I just go, hey, I'll leave this for a bit, I come back to it, and because it's been like about, I don't know, like a month or two away from playing it, I'm like, wait, what was I doing here? What was I doing around here? I can't really remember what's going on here. Better start again and build the same sneak stealth archer build. Every time, Jules, every time. You have something wrong with you. Number 7, Yakuza 5. Now, it is wildly variable how much time it will take you to beat a Yakuza or Like a Dragon game, because, like, for example, if you just stick on the critical path of the man who erased his own name, you'd probably take about 10 hours. But then you can go into other games, and it's like 100 is barely scratching the surface. Case in point, Yakuza 5's monstrously oversized campaign, which revolves around a stonking 5 playable characters and takes about 40 hours just to mainline. Yet considering that large swathes of the core story are quite the stamina-annihilating slog, you'll probably be tempted to peel off the critical path and indulge in the game's more entertaining side activities instead. And trust me, the side missions, like most Yakuza and Like a Dragon games, are incredible and weird. I absolutely fall in love with them each and every time. When a new release pops its head over the horizon, I'm not even bothered about the main story. I'm just like, what can I do this time around? Oh, karaoke, fantastic. Can I race those tiny little Matchbox Scalextric cars again? Yes, that was the winner. That was true gold, baby. Less said about the live action women thing, where you have the Kleenex shot at the end of every visit or deposit, as the case should be. Trophy or not, nah, weird. Number 6, Assassin's Creed Valhalla. Now you might notice that I've got the evil finger temple of doom right here, because I never said that spending 100 hours in a game is always a good thing, and case in point, when it came to Valhalla, gods, both new and old. This was a long stay in this area. It overstayed its welcome many hours ago. You're just there like, oh man, what a joy it is to walk across such barren, open landscape and see nothing. Woo! Ubisoft, you spoil me. But anyone who pumped major time into the game, or actually finished it, will appreciate that the main story is a 20-hour romp distented into a 60-hour chore packed with relentless busy work and bloat. And if you throw in a, air quotes, healthy amount of side quests and exploration, you're easily over the 100-hour mark before you roll credits on this thing, if you even do it at all. And again, there are tons of Reddit threads of players basically coming together to try and motivate each other to finish the bloody thing. It's become a job for them. That is incredibly sad. It's precisely this sort of exhausting experience that many evidently got tired of, instead moving on to another game or ultimately never returning to it. Which is why the recent Assassin's Creed Mirage is such an oasis in a desert of content, because you can basically get through this with all of the side missions in around 30 hours. That is much more appealing. Thank you very much. And I don't say thanks to Ubisoft very often. Number 5, Xenoblade Chronicles 2. Now, many fans were relieved that Xenoblade Chronicles 3 was noticeably shorter than its two predecessors, either of which would comfortably qualify for this entry. I mean, you're looking around 60 hours to beat the main stories of the first two games, but the inevitability of periodically going off the beaten track to explore and play side content ensures that both can become 100+ hour time sinks. But here's the thing, the 100+ hour time sink when it comes to Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is a bit of a weird one, because it's not just the incredibly bloated story and tons of optional content, but the actual gameplay itself feels drawn out and elongated to the point that you're just there like, hurry the f*** up! XC2 definitely has its defenders, of course, and it's a terrifically entertaining game up to a point, albeit one that has a near sadistic lack of respect for the player's time, which can make getting to the end, even with well over 100 hours already in the bank, feel like a Herculean feat. Number 4, Red Dead Redemption 2. Oh, Red Dead Redemption 2, how I love and hate how much time that I've spent in your meticulously crafted world. Now, this is most definitely a story-based game, but it is one that tells you, in no small terms, to just stop, smell the flowers, kill some wildlife, kill some locals, kill some wildlife and locals and throw them in front of a moving train. Then take a bath, because you're so greasy and grubby. Now, you almost certainly know by now what happens at the end of this game, but actually rolling the credits for yourself, nah, that's just not going to happen, is it, anytime soon? Because even if you rush through the story, you're looking at around 40 to 50 hours to beat both the main campaign and the lengthy epilogue, and this being a Rockstar game and all, almost nobody is going to do that. I mean, if you take a peek at Red Dead Redemption 2's PS4 trophy data, you will find quite a worrying statistic that less than a quarter of the player base has actually managed to reach and beat the epilogue. That is a low number, which more than 5 years removed from its release suggests that the overwhelming majority of people have just clocked in epic playtimes without actually concluding the story in full. Number 3, Elden Ring. Okay, so let's set the record straight right now. Elden Ring is a huge game, and even if you are good and are able to go through every single boss first time and absolutely batter them like Scottish cooking, you will clock in around 50 to 60 hours. It's a girthy boy. And the problem is with this game is that it's kind of dependent on your skill. Like many, I am not that good at these types of games, even though I am thoroughly addicted to the formula. So my playthrough of my first time around the sun was well into the 150-hour mark, and I definitely did not see everything. In fact, the only thing that I did see was the giant boss's feet as they repeatedly crushed me to death. And no, I did not enjoy this experience, despite what my search history will tell you. But unlike basically every other game on this list, Elden Ring's low completion rate, despite colossal time investment from players en masse, is as much to do with the richness of its world and staggering amount of content on offer as just how damn challenging it is. I mean, sure, Elden Ring is certainly easier than most prior From Software games by granting the player more combat options and allowing them to return to challenging foes later on, but it's still, by any typical metric, a ball-bustingly difficult game. And trust me, you're going to want to go through every single nook and cranny in this game because there's secrets galore, there's hidden side quests, hidden weapons, armor, character, rewards aplenty, and of course, most of the time it's just you go around the corner, it's like, oh, an instant death trap or enemy that I'm totally unprepared for. Sick. And From Software, it's just that like, and you're like, oh, you cheeky devil. What you like, oh, you bastard. Number 2, The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild is arguably the single most beloved video game of the last decade, largely due to Nintendo reimagining Hyrule as an almost impossibly wondrous open world. But you know what? This game is so much more than just about trying to beat Ganon. It is an experience, so much so that you won't have to look very hard to find players who are just like, I didn't want to finish this game. Because it meant having to say goodbye to the phenomenal world building that is right in front of me. And I'm kinda here for that. Numerous prominent outlets have posted articles from journalists and players alike who have intentionally refused to fight Ganon because to battle and defeat him would bring this still open adventure to an unambiguous close. Even accepting that completion rates for most big AAA games aren't great, it speaks to a game's truly special nature when players want to prolong it in perpetuity, keeping it alive forevermore. And number 1, Persona 5 Royal. And so we close on Persona 5 Royal, a game that basically looks at your free time and goes, weren't planning on using that anytime soon, were you, mate? Hope you haven't got any commitments there, pal, because whoo, you ain't going nowhere. Getting through the critical path in the original Persona 5 game was easily 100 hours, which took many by surprise for those who weren't familiar with the Persona elongated format. It never felt like it overstayed its welcome. It was a brilliant time. But then Persona 5 Royal came along and was just like, hey lads, what if we added about 20 to 30 extra hours on top of that, yeah? You like the sound of that? You do? You cheeky devil, you. And what if I put a secret ending in it, right? The secret ending that you can only get if you basically go against what the game wants to tell you all the way through, yeah? All right. Stay with me, mate. And you get that at the end. Do you like the sound of that? So that means 2 full playthroughs of 110, 120 hours each to see all of the endings. I'm in a prison of pleasure. Though Persona fans are certainly a dedicated bunch, there are a great many who have got well over 100 hours logged without reaching the original end. It's a brilliant game, no question, albeit one that demands an obscene amount of time from the player even to just get through the mere core experience. But thankfully, Persona 6 has been pushed all the way back to 2026 though. Hooray! I'll have maybe finished it by then. Who am I kidding? I won't. So there we go, my friends. Those were 8 video games that you spent 100 plus hours in and still haven't finished. I hope that you enjoyed that, and please let me know what you thought about it down in the comment section below. And if you want to chat to me, you can do so by following me over on the social medias that are shown right here, my friends. But before I go, I just want to say one thing. Hope you're treating yourself well. Hope you're treating yourself with that respect and love that you deserve. We all do as human beings, and don't let anything or anyone else tell you otherwise. You are a massive legend. You deserve the bloody best, all right? So go out there and smash your life goals today. I believe in you, and you need to believe in yourself as well. As always, I've been Jules. You have been awesome. Never forget that. And I'll speak to you soon. Bye.